Hi, minasan, domo, Kairi desu. Hi guys, this is Kairi. Today I want to share a story with you about a Muslim man who had insulted every other Muslim person because of his nice experience here in Japan. So, let's get into it. In Tokyo, the capital of Japan, a man got into a taxi. Due to the language barrier, he couldn't say much except for the name of the institute he wanted to go to. The taxi driver understood, nodded, and respectfully opened the door for the passenger to get in, which is part of their culture. As the journey began, the driver turned on the meter, then after a while he turned it off, and later turned it back on again. The passenger was puzzled but remained silent due to the language barrier. When he reached the institute, he told the people welcoming him, first asked the taxi driver why he turned off the meter for some time during the trip. When they asked the driver, he replied, "I made a mistake along the way. I missed the turn I was supposed to take, and the next U-turn was quite far. Due to my mistake, we had to travel an extra 2 to 2.5 kilometers. During that time, I turned off the meter. I cannot charge the passenger for the distance that increased because of my mistake." I am amazed that this driver had not performed any religious practices, didn't pray, didn't recite the kalima, had no beard, no robe, no cap, yet he had integrity. We have everything, but we lack honesty. We may be Muslims, but we don't embody Islam. Islam is not just about turbans, kurtas, pajamas, and beards, but rather about speaking the truth and being fair in our dealings. Islam is the name of integrity. Let us now compare ourselves. So, I have a few points to make. Opening doors is not part of Japanese culture. While I'm sure it's very chivalrous and gentlemanly to open and hold the door open for a stranger, and we all know how Japan is the height of politeness and courtesy, it is in fact not a cultural thing. Japanese people do not tend to open or hold doors open for strangers. My second point is, I'm rather confused why the comparisons. It's an individual person's experience, an individual non-Japanese person's experience with a Japanese person, right? A Japanese taxi driver. So what was the need to bring Islam or Muslims into it? You can't compare the religion of Islam or Muslims to the individual Japanese man. Heck, it's not even a comparison between occupations. It can't be a comparison between ethnicities, because although the majority of Japanese people are ethnically Japanese, Muslims are a culmination of people from various races, all under the umbrella of Islam. And finally, it can't be a comparison between religions, because the monotheistic religion of Islam is vastly different from that of Buddhism or Shintoism. Even the level of how quote-unquote religious Muslim people are versus Japanese people is also very different. My final point is that you say, now let us compare ourselves, but why do you turn such a beautiful experience and story into something so crude? Spit in the faces of your brothers and sisters, all so that you could placate as a virtuous person and spew your ignorance, so you could have your Martin Luther King moment. The sheer hubris that only Muslims can be good human beings, or that only people with beards and turbans or kurtas can be good, virtuous, and pious people. Remember this: no beard nor turban does a good man make. Questions, comments, concerns, even criticisms, by all means exercise your freedom to write what you want down below, and I'll see you in the next video. じゃあみんなそろそろ안녕、じゃあね、チャルジャー、バイバイ、see you、おやすみ、good night, peace.